All right, so we're working with video number 3 now, and change the lighting a little bit, change my setup. So hopefully that's a good thing. I wanted to be vulnerable and talk about something that I was going through the past 48 hours, relating to content creation and social media and all that, because that's the point. That's it's part of this journey, and obviously it's related to this, so it would only make sense to talk about it. And that is, I felt like I failed. I felt like I was failing to think of ideas and think of the right videos to make and how to make them. And I felt like every single video I made was just all over the place. I wasn't saying the right things, and all of these ideas, all these negative connotations relating to my videos were just popping in my head one by one. And luckily, I spoke to my brother about it, and we had a conversation about it. And um, as of today, he's already uploaded 2 or 3 times, and I haven't even uploaded once. I haven't even uploaded my introduction video at the moment that I'm saying this. Not because I've been postponing it, but I just want to have enough ideas and content, so that I don't fall behind and I miss a day potentially. So I want to give myself at least probably 4 or 5 days worth of content, so 4 or 5 videos. But the point is, I had made 2 videos at this point, and I turned to Dave and I was like, dude, I feel like I don't know what to do. I don't know what kind of content to make. I don't know what to say. I don't know what niche I want to pick. And basically, I felt like I was failing at this, which was weird. It's weird because always had such a positive mindset surrounding anything. This move, starting a business with him, all of these different things. I've just been like, okay, we'll figure out a way around it, figure out a way around it, figure out a way around it. And that's helped me persevere in a lot of ways. And so, all this to say, a limiting belief entered my mind yesterday and the days preceding that I eliminated today. And I decided that I'm no longer going to believe that it's hard to make content, or that it's hard to think of ideas at least to make content. Um, I'm just gonna sit down and I'm gonna do it. Which brings me to my next point. I do want to humble myself a little bit because I was one of those people who, and I mentioned this in my previous videos, I was one of those people that thought content looked so easy to do. Content creation looked like such an easy thing. But in reality, that's far from the truth. After sitting down and making a couple videos, taking a couple takes to make these videos, I realized, wow, there's a lot more that goes into it than just simple push of a button and creating content. Obviously, there's sides of social media that make it seem so easy, but that's far from the truth. And that's something I kind of want to talk about because that's a big takeaway I've had from this journey so far. Um, so, yeah, it is not easy. Building up the courage to sit down in front of a camera and talk about a topic that you want to be consistent throughout your videos, whatever niche it may be, whatever topic, or category it may be, you want it to be consistent because you don't just want to be talking about random things. So yeah, figuring that out, the production side of it, editing, making videos. We don't have any professional editors. We do this stuff ourselves. So obviously that's a step to it. And in my opinion, that was the easy part, right? Doing this right now is the harder part. But yeah, it's obviously it takes time to adjust to new things and to get into new things like this. So I'm excited for what I can learn from it. But what's the next step, right? I've humbled myself. I've acknowledged that this is hard, and there's a huge learning curve for me at least when doing this. So what is the next step? How do I get out of this? Well, first of all, like I mentioned, it's the positive self-talk and just really eliminating those limiting beliefs, saying stuff like, oh, you can't do it, you can't think of anything, this and that, and just tell yourself that you are able to think of stuff. I have a vault of ideas in my mind. I just need to figure out how to access it better and how to manipulate that into a potential video. So just that thought alone changed my mind, my perspective on it completely. On top of that, I think it's important to look towards other creators and see what they do, right? I said in my previous videos that I kind of want to be in the niche of self-help, motivation and, life talk and storytelling and basically talking about what we do, but it's still very vague, right? It doesn't offer a lot of perspective on what the journey is going to look like if you decide to subscribe to my channel and watch my videos. So I kind of want to dive a little deeper into that. I watched a video by Matt Gray, and I'll link this video in the description because I think if you're somebody who's like me trying to start a channel, it's a pretty beneficial video. And he talks about a lot of things, but a couple of key takeaways that I took from this video were questions to ask yourself when building a brand, right? Because building a brand is different than just knowing who you are, right? It's knowing who you are and then how you portray who you are to the people that are watching. So he asked a ton of questions, but the three that I took away from the video that I thought were the most important to answer, at least for myself and my situation right now, were what makes me different or unforgettable? What do I want to be known for? And how will I measure success beyond money? So, what makes me different or unforgettable? I think there's a few things that make me different or unforgettable. I think, first and foremost, I have the ability to lead and be a leader in a way that a lot of people don't. I don't use cookie cutter methods to lead. I feel like it comes naturally to some people, and I have an energy that that people may want to listen to or potentially follow. And I don't say this out of cockiness. I just say this out of confidence in myself. This is how I view myself. This is what I believe in, and this is what I believe about myself. I think another big thing that differentiates me from anyone else is my authenticity, right? In the first few videos, and especially this one, I think it's apparent how real I'm being throughout this process. I'm sitting down, clicking record, and just talking about my day. I'm writing essays about it that I'm posting on Substack, but those are a lot more thought out and better written. But this is just simply me speaking to the camera and being as vulnerable as possible when discussing my journey here. So I think that authenticity is rare, and while you do see it more often nowadays, it is still something that's hard to find and hard to believe more so. But I think if you follow this journey, it'll be proven to you why my authenticity is so real. And lastly, the last one that I was able to think of, and I know there's plenty more, but the last one I was able to think of is my just extreme ambition towards my goals. My brother and I, like I mentioned in the first video, are people who are just extremely ambitious, extremely high potential. We believe in ourselves to no end, and we have this tunnel vision towards the things that we want to accomplish. So while ambition like that is spoke about commonly, like I mentioned when I said authenticity, we are going to prove that ambition within us is real. So I think the combination of those three things as a whole is something that's extremely rare and differentiates me from almost anybody else that you can find on here. And I know there's more examples that I just haven't thought of that I'll think more into down the line. That's really all I got right now. What do I want to be known for? It's an interesting question to ask somebody who is not necessarily into YouTube for any end result. It's just more so the discomfort for myself and the documentation of this journey, like I mentioned. So I think the number one thing I would want to be known for is just to motivate people to do something similar to I am, or something completely different, but something they've been wanting to do, something that they were inspired to do by me. I think that would be an awesome thing to say that I've inspired a few people on here. I think that's inspirational back to me, you know what I mean? So I think that would be a really cool thing to do. I think on a personal note, like I mentioned in my first introduction video, I want to take the uncomfortable steps towards living a life that I truly want to live, right? I mentioned how I didn't feel like the life I was living was fulfilling to me, like it was one I wanted to live long term, so I made a change. And I want to prove that that was the right thing to do for me, and how other people can do that and, really institute change in their life so that they live the lives that truly makes them happy. The last thing that I was able to think of for this question is to shift people's perspectives on things about life in general and prove that success isn't always a linear path. There are different points along the way, and success isn't always A to B. There's going to be things that happen. And like I mentioned earlier and in other videos, success isn't always the end goal or the end result. Sometimes just trying is a success in itself, and it's a great one. So on the note of success, the last question that I answered was, how will I measure success beyond money? And I'll start off by saying pretty much what I just said. Trying is a success in itself. And a lot of people will disagree with that, but I think if you have been thinking about something that you want to do and you try to do that thing, no matter what the outcome is, you were successful in trying. And I think that's huge. I think that's so underestimated. And that's something I stand by. But in the long term, I do want to measure the progress of the body of work that I've built and that I'm currently building. So here's what I would consider a success. If I can consistently wake up every day and put my best effort into making one of these videos and posting one every single day, that will be a success in my mind. If while on this journey in Rome, I do something out of my comfort zone every single day, that will be a success in my mind. If I can inspire even one person, that will be a success in my mind. If I sharpen my values and become a better person as a result, then regardless of the numbers of the algorithm that YouTube may show me, I'm succeeding in life. And I think that is all that matters. So yeah, those are the few questions and the things that I've decided will narrow down my niche, if you will, and what I'm kind of doing on here. So I hope you enjoy. Thank you.